Hey everybody, this is Joel Hoekstra of Whitesnake, and you're watching KaaosTV.
Okay, so what's up everybody? KaaosTV is today here at the Ice Hall of Helsinki, Finland, and we have here Joel from the band Whitesnake as guest. So first off, hello and welcome to KaaosTV, man, for the first time.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
So you have just kicked off the European tour and you have played a couple of shows already in Russia. So how has the gigs gone so far?
Great. Yeah, well, we did 3 months in North America and took a little break, and then we just started this leg in Japan, actually. And then, as you said, the 2 shows in Russia, and man, everything's exceeded all expectations. It's just great working with David Coverdale. He's rock royalty, and I feel very honored to be a part of this lineup with Tommy Aldridge on drums, who's a living legend, and playing in a guitar team with Red Beach is such great fun for me. So yeah, it's really been a great experience.
So you were also part of the Purple album, which was released a few months ago. So what kind of overall feedback have you received from the album, and have you been pleased with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great way for me to get acclimated with playing in the band and to working with the guys, and quite a bit more of a creative process than I think people would realize. I mean, the original versions of those songs only had one guitar riff, and Reb was going to have that covered a lot of times. So for me, it was about trying to come up with different guitar parts and coming up with as many sounds and ideas and textures going in to try and make the songs our own. And of course we did our own thing with the guitar solos, and David turned over the acoustic arrangements of Sail Away and Soldier of Fortune to me, so that was great thing. And really an honor to just have put our own spin on these songs, and it just gives people another version of those songs that they can listen to, and hopefully they dig it.
So are you actually the kind of guy who pays attention to reviews and what media writes about you and your bands, or are you the kind of guy who tries to avoid reading any feedback that's online, basically?
No, I usually read stuff, but I also, if I only read stuff once or twice, it's not that big a deal. If I read the same thing over and over and over and over, that's when I take it seriously. So, but yeah, I read stuff online. I like to try and change people's opinions if they're negative.
Post some comment that it's not what I thought when I was doing it.
Well, you can't. Number one, you can never make everybody happy.
Yeah.
So, but you can try. I mean, there's nothing wrong with if you read the same criticism over and over and over, then I think it's something worth looking at and maybe trying to fix.
Yeah. So you just released your 4th solo album on October 16th. So could you tell us a bit about the whole writing and recording process of it?
Yeah, I put out 3 solo albums years ago that were instrumental guitar albums. 2 of them were rock fusion and 1 was fingerstyle acoustic. So really the last 7-8 years I've gotten a lot of new fans from playing in Night Ranger and Rock of Ages and Trans-Siberian Orchestra, now of course Whitesnake. So I wanted to put out an album that was a solo project of sorts that was more in that genre, the melodic hard rock genre. So I just basically asked a lot of my favorite musicians and friends, and I didn't set out to do an all-star band thing, but it kind of ended up that way. It's an amazing lineup, and I did all the writing on it. I wrote all the lyrics and the vocal melodies and the whole thing. So it didn't really feel fair to call it a band. Yet I thought if I called it just a solo, it doesn't really sound like a solo album. It does sound like a band to a degree. So I gave it a project name, and that's Joel Hoekstra's 13, and the album is called Dying to Live. And as you said, it came out October 16 on Frontiers Records, and I hope people will check it out. I think if they're fans of melodic hard rock, I describe the album as Dio-ish at its heaviest and Foreigner-ish at its lightest, and it's gotten rave reviews. So I think the trick is just getting people to give it a listen. Most people are happy when they do listen.
So where did you actually come up for this 4th solo album to basically do something like melodic hard rock based stuff instead of doing something instrumental again?
Well, yeah, as I said, I think I've had a lot of new fans request it. Fans that have gotten to know me from playing with the bands that I mentioned. They'd listen to my solo albums and they'd go, oh. Because it's not what fusion or instrumental guitar. So they wanted to hear just rock songs, and me too. I grew up playing melodic hard rock, so I always sounded like a great idea to make that album, but it also was a matter of just finding the time. I've been really busy over the last 6-7 years. I've had a great run of playing. At times there, I was about 400 shows a year, with including the Broadway show and everything. So, like I said, that's really the point in making the album for me, and I had a great time doing it.
So why not then, basically?
Why not what?
Why not do it if you're having fun while doing it?
Exactly. Yeah, for me it was a good challenge, and not just saying, well, I'm going to make completely different music than I've been playing with the bands. I kind of wanted to make something that was in that genre, and so that gave it a focus, at least, and a style that I wanted to shoot for.
So as you said, you have been part already with quite a few bands, and of course worked with quite a few musicians as well. So are there like some certain musicians on your so-called wish list that you would like to work with in the future? Maybe with your 5th solo album or something like that?
Really anybody that just wants to play music at a high level, and rock in particular these days for me are people that I want to play with and work with. People that take it seriously in terms of the quality.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Nothing specific. I mean, this lineup is amazing to have rhythm section and Tony Franklin and Vinny Appice. That's just amazing. And 2 of the best vocalists in rock today singing on it, with Russell Allen and Jeff Scott Soto. And Derek Sherinian played keyboards on all of it as well.
You have quite well-known names on your solo album, I know.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't really set out to do that, but it ended up being that way. Just everybody said yes that I asked. So at the end I went, wow, that's quite a lineup I ended up with on this.
So compared to working as a solo artist and now playing with Whitesnake, how do you see like the differences? Because I guess when you're doing a solo album, it's basically you're the boss in the band, but I guess now being part of Whitesnake, of course, there's obviously other guys who have there to say also.
Yeah, there was a lot more responsibility on me making the Dying to Live, for sure. I mean, I did all of the writing, so number one, right out of the gate, and the producing, and being responsible for all of the promo end of it and everything. It was a lot of work for me. It was a great learning experience. Normally I'm the guy to come in and play guitar on the albums that I've been doing, and maybe a little bit of the writing with Night Ranger, but not much. And so far with Whitesnake, it's only been the Purple album, so the writing thing is yet to be seen. But it was a lot more responsibility, for sure. I put in way more work on Dying to Live than most albums that I just play on.
So let's talk a bit about the future of music, because there has been like a lot of discussion what will happen to rock music when these so-called giants, like for example Motorhead and Black Sabbath and Motley Crue and bands like that, will someday end their career. So do you think that there will be like stadium-sized rock bands in the future?
It's impossible to predict. The only thing I can really do is just try and focus on what I can do, and that's just be productive every day. That's just the way I try to think of it, instead of focusing on how bad the business is. I don't know. I just try and stay productive, wake up every day and treat what I do like a job, and try and get better on guitar, try and do better with networking, try and do better with meeting people like yourself, and taking the time to put in the time to try and build a career. So I don't know. That's all I try to do. I really don't know the future. I hope it's good for all of us.
So do you feel that think that there will be like same kind of basically rock icons in the future, like there is at the moment, like for example Lemmy or Ozzy? Or do you think that it's even possible nowadays to basically create that iconic status in rock music?
Sure. I think anything is possible. I think it's more difficult now because there's not the same kind of scene for people to play live growing up. And it's harder to sell albums, and there's a lot of challenges there, but you never know what's around the corner. That all could change in a year. Everything could be different. So you just don't know. I mean, I really think anything is possible at the end of the day, and I think there are people out there that are going to grow to be great artists still, definitely.
So what do you think about like streaming services such as Spotify, for example? Are you like against it, or do you like that you have your songs on Spotify?
Well, I think that people should pay for music, and artists should get paid for music because we spend time doing it. It's our jobs. I don't, so I think it only makes it more difficult. People complain now when musicians are in a bunch of different bands, and the bands don't tour, and they just keep making albums, and that really comes down to people not making enough money. So artists need to stay busy with 3 bands to make enough money to pay their bills, and so I don't know. People don't seem to understand that, but it's if you're sharing music, you're stealing from the artists basically. So in terms of streaming, some of it you can view like it's advertising.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't know. Like I said, I just think I'm more against the sharing. I think that people should buy the music. We don't expect to see movies for free.
Yeah.
So.
Do you use Spotify yourself?
No.
No, you don't.
No.
If you wanna buy something digital, you buy it through iTunes or something like that.
I buy it through iTunes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you still remember the times when you bought your very first vinyl? What was it?
I started buying when it was cassettes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I think mine was also first that I ever bought was cassette.
Yeah, and that was Back in Black.
Yeah.
But AC/DC was what I started on. AC/DC, Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Scorpions. Those were all the first bands that I really liked.
Okay. So, thank you, man, very much for your time, and best of luck for tonight's show as well as for the whole European tour. Anything you want to say as last words to Finnish fans who are watching the interview?
No, I just appreciate all the support. I appreciate the opportunity to make a living playing guitar, and feel very lucky to be here doing the gigs that I've been able to do. And thank you. Thanks for the support.
And check out your solo album as well.
And check out Joel Hoekstra's 13, Dying to Live, please.
Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.